Love is the freedom of two people. Dependence is the fear of losing each other. You wake up in the morning, and before you even open your eyes, the first thought is about them. Will they call today? Did they read your message? Do they still love you? The day has not begun, and already your heart is tied to someone else's response. Every vibration of the phone feels like oxygen. Every silence feels like suffocation. You tell yourself it is love, but love should not feel like a hunger that never ends. You spend hours scanning their mood, their tone, their smallest gestures. A look that lasts 1 second too long feels like proof of devotion. A pause before answering feels like rejection. You adjust your words, you hide your feelings, you twist yourself into shapes just to keep them close. In the mirror, you hardly recognize yourself anymore. You are not living your own life. You are orbiting around another person, terrified that if they leave, your world will collapse. The anxiety never rests. Even in moments of tenderness, you cannot relax. The kiss is sweet, but already you wonder when it will fade. The embrace warms you, but in the back of your mind there is panic. What if tomorrow they change? What if tomorrow they decide you are not enough? You cling tighter, trying to freeze the moment. But the tighter you cling, the more fragile it becomes. What you call closeness begins to feel like captivity. Fear of loss gnaws at every interaction. When they are near, you fear pushing them away. When they are distant, you fear being forgotten. The relationship turns into a constant test. Am I loved? Am I chosen? Am I still safe? Each test drains you more, and yet you cannot stop giving yourself another one. The dependence grows stronger with every attempt to reassure yourself. Deep inside, you know this is not peace. Real love should bring calm, but what you feel is a storm that never settles. You live on alert, measuring every word, every silence, every sigh. Their attention becomes a drug, and like any drug, the relief is temporary. The craving returns stronger. You tell yourself it is passion, but passion should not hollow you out. This is not love, it is the fear of emptiness dressed up as devotion. And the most painful truth is this: without them, you feel you do not exist. Their eyes are the mirror where you find yourself. Without their voice, you doubt that you are real. This is why the thought of losing them terrifies you more than any pain they cause. You would rather suffer together than face the silence alone. The relationship becomes a cage you lock from the inside, because freedom feels lonelier than prison. This emptiness is familiar to many, though few dare to admit it. The mask of romance hides the trembling truth that what binds you is not love but dependency, and until you name it, the cycle continues. Clinging, fearing, testing, begging, collapsing. The hunger never ends because what you are seeking in them is not theirs to give. It is the piece of you that you lost long before you met them. You were taught to believe that love must burn with fire, that without passion there is no truth. So when you feel obsession, jealousy, panic, you tell yourself it is proof of depth. You confuse turbulence with intensity, chaos with closeness. But real love is not an endless roller coaster. Real love holds space, while dependence tears it apart. The myth of eternal passion keeps you enslaved to storms, because peace feels too empty, too unfamiliar. You chase the drama, thinking it means you are alive, when in fact it only means you are trapped. You were told that jealousy is a sign of love. If you fear losing them, it must mean they matter. But jealousy is not proof of care. It is proof of insecurity. It whispers that without control, you will be abandoned, that you must monitor, test, possess. This illusion poisons you twice, once with fear of betrayal, and again with the shame of feeling weak. Instead of trust, you create surveillance. Instead of closeness, you create suspicion. And when you finally see the damage, it is already too late. The person you clung to has become the very symbol of your fear. You were told that without them, you are nothing. That to be complete, you need someone else to fill the empty space. Movies, songs, stories repeat this lie. That another person will save you, heal you, complete you. And so you live with the belief that your existence has no value unless someone else confirms it. Dependence grows out of the soil. Every time they smile at you, you feel whole. Every time they turn away, you collapse. Your worth swings back and forth on a rope tied to another's hand. These illusions seem harmless because they are wrapped in the language of romance. Strong passion, sweet jealousy, soulmates who cannot live without each other. But under the surface, they carve deep wounds. They make you believe that pain is natural, that suffering is proof of love. They blind you to the truth that love should not consume your identity. Instead of freeing you, they teach you to surrender yourself completely. The cruelest part is that you followed the rules. You gave everything, you felt deeply, you endured the storms, you proved your devotion. And yet the more you live by these myths, the more empty you became. What was praised as romance was in fact erosion of your core. You tried to be the perfect lover, but perfection only fed the hunger of dependence. The system you trusted betrayed you because it was never built to nourish love. It was built to glorify attachment, even when it destroys you. That is why frustration grows. You realize you did what everyone told you to do, and still you are left drained, lost, unsure of who you are without them. The illusions kept you blind, and now you begin to see. The very things you thought were signs of love were chains tightening around your neck. And once you see it, you can no longer pretend. The myths collapse, leaving you face to face with the uncomfortable truth that what you lived was not love, but dependence carefully disguised as love. Attachment theory shows how the roots of dependence reach back to childhood. A child who never felt secure in the arms of a parent grows into an adult who clings to partners with the same desperate hunger. The absence of consistent care becomes a wound that whispers, "Do not let go, or you will vanish." What feels like love in adulthood is often an attempt to rewrite that old story, to finally receive what was once denied. But the psyche does not heal by repeating the wound. It only deepens it. Freud spoke of the repetition compulsion, the drive to return to the trauma again and again, as if rehearsing it could change the ending. You find yourself drawn to partners who mirror the very people who hurt you. You sense danger, yet you cannot resist. The unconscious craves familiarity more than safety. Better the known pain than the unknown calm. So you fall into the same arms, repeat the same arguments, cry the same tears, convinced this time it will be different. And when it is not, the cycle continues. Jung described the shadow, all that is repressed, denied, hidden, shaping our lives in secret. In relationships, the shadow often appears as projection. You place on your partner the qualities of your inner wounds, the savior you long for, the judge you fear, the parent who abandoned you. You are not relating to the person in front of you, but to the ghosts of your own psyche. And the stronger the projection, the stronger the dependency. Because losing them does not feel like losing a partner. It feels like losing the only chance to heal the child inside. The archetypes of anima and animus reveal another layer. We seek in others the idealized image of the feminine or masculine we carry within. When we mistake a partner for that inner figure, we give them immense power. They become the vessel of our longing, the one who must complete us. Dependency grows from this confusion. We believe they are the missing half of our soul, when in truth they are only mirroring a piece of ourselves we have not yet owned. This is the paradox of dependence. You search for healing through another, hoping their love will stitch together your wounds. You beg for them to be the parent, the savior, the mirror of perfection. But the more you hope, the more you enslave yourself. Every word, every silence, every touch becomes loaded with unbearable weight. They cannot carry it, yet you cannot stop giving it. And the deeper truth emerges. The wound you are trying to heal through them is the very chain that binds you. Even when you understand this, freedom does not come easily. Awareness shines a light, but the shadow resists. You see the pattern, yet you still return. You name the wound, yet it still bleeds. Knowledge does not dissolve the hunger. That is why dependence feels unbreakable, because it is tied not to ignorance, but to the deepest parts of the unconscious. To face it means to face the shadow itself, and that is a battle few dare to fight. The first sign of dependence is the loss of self. You notice that your own desires, hobbies, friendships slowly fade into the background until the entire landscape of your life revolves around the partner. You cancel plans, silence your needs, reshape your personality to fit theirs. At first it looks like devotion, but soon you realize you no longer know who you are without them. The mirror only shows their reflection. Every choice is measured by what they will think, how they will respond, whether they will stay. This erosion is subtle but relentless, and in the end, you feel hollow, living not your own life, but a borrowed one. The second sign is emotional whiplash, the endless swings between extremes. One moment you are euphoric, convinced this is the love of your life, the savior of your wounds. The next moment you are in despair, drowning in suspicion, rage, or fear of abandonment. You bounce from idealization to hatred, from worship to resentment. These highs and lows exhaust you, but they are also addictive. The brain becomes hooked on the cycle, the agony of distance followed by the ecstasy of reconciliation. What feels like passion is actually dependency fueled by chemical surges, keeping you trapped in a roller coaster that never ends. The third sign is the overwhelming fear of loneliness. You would rather endure humiliation, neglect, even emotional abuse than face the empty silence of being alone. The thought of separation terrifies you more than any pain their presence causes. You stay not because the love is strong, but because the fear is stronger. The partner becomes less a person and more a shield against the abyss inside. This fear drives you to compromise beyond reason, to forgive what should not be forgiven, to cling even when every part of you wants to run. Each of these signs reveals the same truth. What you call love is in fact a desperate attachment. The partner becomes the substitute for your own missing pieces, the answer to wounds that were never healed. That is why letting go feels impossible, because it is not just them you are losing. It is the illusion that someone outside you can finally make you whole. Dependency disguises itself as devotion, but in reality it is surrender of the self. And the more you give away, the less capacity you have to see clearly. You call it love because it feels intense, dramatic, consuming. But intensity without peace, drama without safety, fire without warmth, these are not signs of love. They are the symptoms of an inner emptiness demanding to be filled. And until you face that emptiness, the relationship will remain a prison built from your own hunger. The first tool is to recognize projection. Watch the moments when you look at your partner not as they are, but as the savior you want them to be. Every time you expect them to heal your loneliness, to repair your wounds, to carry your pain, stop and write it down. These are not their tasks. They are signals of the shadow inside you. Naming the projection breaks part of its power. The second tool is to track when your partner turns into the rescuer in your mind. Notice the shift. One moment they are simply human, flawed, and ordinary. The next they become the only one who can save you from despair. That transformation is not about them. It is about your own psyche reaching back to childhood hunger. By catching this moment, you begin to separate the real person from the ghost of your past. The third tool is to keep a journal of dependent reactions. Record the times when you cling, when you panic at their absence, when you silence yourself to keep them close. Do not judge, just collect. Over time, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. What feels like isolated moments of weakness reveals itself as a cycle that repeats again and again. Seeing the cycle clearly is the first step to breaking it. The fourth tool is to practice enduring loneliness. Sit with the silence you fear, the emptiness you try to escape. At first it feels unbearable. The urge to run back, to call, to beg for attention will scream inside you. But if you stay, even for a short while, you discover that the emptiness does not kill you. Slowly you learn to hold your own presence, to breathe without needing another to confirm you exist. This practice is painful, but it is the only path toward wholeness. None of these steps promise quick relief. Dependency does not vanish with affirmations or rules. It loosens when you stop running from yourself. Each time you face the shadow, the projection, the hunger, the fear, you reclaim a piece of your life. And this is where the real work begins, not with the partner, but with you. If this video has changed something in you, write in the comments, "I accept my shadow." Write it as a commitment to yourself, a line you will not erase. Because admitting the shadow is not defeat, it is the beginning of strength. Dependence is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that an old wound is still alive inside you. You spend years trying to hide it, wrapping it in romance, masking it with devotion, but the hunger always returns. Every time you call it love, the cycle tightens. Every time you call it passion, the wound deepens. As long as you treat dependence as shame, you cannot learn from it. You only fight it in secret, and what is fought in secret always wins. The truth is that dependence is not an accident. It is a signal. It shows you where you were once abandoned, where you were once unseen, where you were once told that your worth depended on someone else's approval. That is why the pull is so strong. You are not only longing for a partner, you are longing to finally repair what was broken long ago. And yet no partner, no matter how devoted, can heal the wound you refuse to face yourself. Love is born not out of hunger, but out of fullness. When you meet someone from a place of emptiness, every glance becomes a drug, every silence a punishment, every distance a threat. But when you meet someone from fullness, their presence enriches you without becoming your lifeline. You share instead of cling, you give instead of beg, you stay not out of fear but out of choice. The culmination is recognizing that dependence does not make you unworthy. It makes you human. It reveals where the shadow is asking to be seen. And when you stop calling it disgrace and begin calling it message, the cycle starts to shift. The same pain that once enslaved you becomes a teacher that guides you. There is no final closure here, only an opening. An opening to live without denying the wound, without worshiping the cage, without calling dependence love. An opening to build relationships not from fear of being alone, but from the strength of standing whole. And this is only the beginning.